Why should you know the GAPS diet? Let's find out. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sylvia and I'm a big city mom. I live, work and raise my family in New York City, and whenever I have some free time, I blog and vlog about health through diet, lifestyle and nutrition. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with autoimmunity, rheumatoid arthritis. And a few months ago, I was able to reverse this nasty condition through diet, lifestyle and nutrition. And I was so blown away with the results that it finally pushed me to start this YouTube channel. So if this is you, definitely subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll get started with today's video. If you are researching autoimmunity and you're researching long enough, you will inevitably come across the GAPS diet. GAPS stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome, or Gut and Physiology Syndrome. These concepts were developed by Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. It inextricably links the health of your gut with full spectrum, ever-expanding list of chronic and degenerative diseases. She entered into this field due to her personal story. At some point, her son was diagnosed with autism. She herself was a neurologist. She got another degree in nutrition, and she developed these theories of GAPS and implemented them with her son. And her son actually fully recovered from autism. With time, the GAPS concepts became so effective at treating of the chronic and degenerative disease that Dr. Natasha trained a large number of GAPS practitioners all over the world, and also she wrote many books on the topic. I got the one covering the gut and physiology syndrome because it is the most relevant to me. The book covers all aspects of autoimmunity, gut issues, fatigue, arthritis, and many more. The book also has many different variations of the GAPS diet. So if you are dealing with chronic condition or you know somebody that does, you should definitely become familiar with the GAPS diet. Similarly to the research of paleomedicina in Hungary, and I have a video about that, GAPS concepts place the leaky gut and the dysfunctional gut flora at the center of all chronic and degenerative disease. Well, anywhere I look, I always find myself going back to the leaky gut issues as being the culprit of all problems that I've ever dealt with in my life. As a matter of fact, years ago, I went to a fortune teller and she told me that my lifelong struggle will be a weak and sensitive gut. And here I am, 20 years later, making another video about the issues of the leaky gut. All right, so let's look at the principles of the GAPS diet. Leaky gut has many different contributing factors, but the main one is what we eat. And I don't think anybody will argue that what we eat these days is far from perfect. In fact, the opposite is true. We eat lots of processed foods, refined sugars, preservatives, additives, artificial colorings. We eat on the go, we eat too frequently and too much. And I'm sure I can go on forever. So depending on your condition, you will be recommended one of the 5 variations of the GAPS diet. So the principles of the GAPS diet is to remove the foods that can cause the leaky gut and aggravate it. So that would be mostly plant foods. She particularly emphasizes the starch being really bad for the leaky gut, and add foods that are healing for the gut, which will be mostly animal foods. Now, paleomedicina approaches this very similarly. They actually demonstrate in their research that saturated fats play the healing role to restoring normal gut permeability. Now, Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride also emphasizes that the dysfunctional gut flora alone can contribute to the leaky gut. So you also have to pay attention to having a normal, healthy gut flora. And for that, she prescribes lots of fermented foods in her diet. If your condition is quite severe, you will be advised to start on the GAPS introduction diet. This version of the GAPS diet aims at quickly restoring of your healthy gut lining. This means you will need to eat lots of amino acids, collagen, gelatin, glucosamine, minerals and vitamins, and they are predominantly found in saturated fats, meats, including organ meat, and not to aggravate your gut further, you won't be eating any plants, except for if you can tolerate some fermented vegetables. If you can't, then you will be advised to take good quality probiotics. The food should be sourced from organic, grass-fed sources. Now, I understand that it might be challenging for some, so do the best you can. Start wherever you are able to start, and all the food also should be prepared at home. If and when your gut heals enough to tolerate some fruits and vegetables, you will be transitioned to full GAPS diet. On this version of the GAPS diet, you will be eating 85% of your calories from animal sources. So again, saturated fats, meats, fish, eggs, raw fermented dairy, some fruits, some vegetables, and of course fermented vegetables. Dr. Campbell McBride points out that raw fermented dairy also has healing properties to our guts. This is what sets her apart, because Paleomedicina does not recommend dairy in any form on their diet. Some people's guts are so severely damaged that the only option is not to eat any plants or fruits, and if that's the case, they will be placed on the no plants GAPS diet. This basically means a carnivore diet. 100% of your calories will come from saturated fats and meats, including organ meats, salt and water. And maybe you can tolerate some herbal teas if you can. If not, then water it is. And Dr. Campbell McBride demonstrates in another of her books, Vegetarianism Explained, that people can thrive on animal foods only, whereas the opposite isn't true. And another one is GAPS ketogenic diet. So this is quite easy to accomplish if you are already on the low carb ketogenic, paleo diet, or GAPS introduction. Basically what you have to do, you need to make 80% of your daily calories to be from fats, and the rest could be protein and some carbohydrates, maybe like 5% of carbohydrates. Now, Paleomedicina focuses on being in continuous ketosis, and the ketosis should be 2 or a little more. Now, Dr. Campbell McBride says that ketosis isn't necessary in all cases. However, she does find it really helpful if you are a cancer patient. Personally, I like to be in ketosis because I feel like my healing is a lot more accelerated and my mood is just excellent. I have a lot more motivation. I am like really optimistic, and it makes it a lot easier to stick with the program that is quite demanding any way you look at it. And the last variation of the GAPS diet is more plants GAPS diet. Dr. Campbell McBride identified a group of people that will actually do better if they have more plants in their diet. Now, if your gut is recovered enough so that you don't have bloating, abdominal pains, constipation, or diarrhea after consuming plants, you might be able to introduce more of them into your diet. Now, meats and fats, animal foods, will be still the healthy basis of your diet, but you can eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, and someday you can even have a pure vegetarian meal. Currently, I am still on the paleo ketogenic diet, and I am not quite ready to bring more plant foods into my diet, including the fermented foods. But as you can see, I am slowly getting myself ready to introduce some fermented foods, and that's because I am of an Eastern European background, and fermented foods is the bread and butter of our diet. So I am looking forward to being able to eat fermented foods. And I do believe, my gut feeling is that they're super healthy for our overall health. And so that's where I am as of today. I'm thinking maybe after New Year's, I will start experimenting with some fermented foods. We shall see. All right. This will do it for this week's video. Please like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!